Greetings, all you Jacks and Jennets, and welcome to your daily dose of donkey with Ginger. It's your boy, the Viking Donkey, bringing you the Steelers talk. Tough loss this week, but we got Laskers, we got Gingy. We're going to send it over to them to break down what they saw and the future of the Steelers, I guess. Is it in the air?
Mutant Gingy in the house. The future. Donkey, my goodness. Let us get through the season before we start talking about the future. You know, lost in the division, pretty much, wiping out any outside hope of really salvaging anything too significant from the season. However, 30 points, offensive explosion, saw some glimmers of a running game. Donkey, and that's what happens when you have glimmers of a running game. So there's not all negative takeaways, but seriously, when you've got a defense as vaunted, I know they weren't going to be, the 08 Steelers defense this year. Nobody called that, but 37 points at that juncture is uncalled for, Donkey.
Well below the standards. Laskers, how about you? Any quick takes from the game before we dive into some fun parts of it, I guess?
I mean, the running game definitely looked a lot better this week. We need that to step up, so, I'm happy for it, but at the same time, that defense, 37 points given up, and we lose when we put up 30, that's a problem.
It is. I was watching the game with Zoidy, and I happened to say after the game, I guarantee you everyone in Pittsburgh is going to blame this on the offense and not the defense. And sure enough, if you read any articles around Pittsburgh, it's all the offense's fault because they didn't show up in the second half. Matt Canada became predictable, which I guess you can say is kind of true because even the Bengals pointed out that Matt Canada became predictable with a screen pass, reverse, running play, 3rd and long. Please, Kenny, save us from 3rd and longs became the offense again in the second half. Not fun to see, not fun to watch. But I'm going to point out something. The defense, Laskers, what were the length of the scoring drives of the touchdowns for the Bengals?
79, 92, 59, and 93.
What I get from that is they're all long drives and all started in the Bengals territory. That is not what the second highest paid defense in the league should get done. The offense doesn't turn the ball over. The offense scores 30 points. Sure, did they struggle in the second half? Yeah, I mean, you could clearly see that we took out a lot of the plays when Jaylen Warren got hurt. We took out even more plays when Mason Cole, our starting center, got hurt and was replaced by Hassenauer. Did they become predictable? Yeah. But at the end of the day, the Steelers have only scored 30 points twice in Matt Canada's era. And the Steelers, by the way, teams in the NFL this year when scoring 30 points are 51 and 12. More specifically, when you score 30 points and you don't turn the ball over, only 3 teams have lost this year that way. That's Baltimore against Miami, Chicago against Miami, and Pittsburgh this week against Cincinnati. Way to screw up this trend, Steelers. Way to be a team that doesn't turn the ball over and loses to someone not named the Dolphins. I mean, you're ruining one of the best stats you could have ever seen. But no, Pittsburgh has to come and screw it up because this vaunted defense that when TJ gets back, you're going to see what this defense can do is the same damn defense it's always been. And that's the problem. This team, this defense, cannot perform when they play winning football teams, Gingy. This is a trend. This is a bad trend. And I don't think this is fixable, Gingy.
Well, Donkey, it's what do you mean by perform? And what you mean by perform is carry that offense as they've done for multiple years now while we're lagging behind. I mean, Donkey, we're not going to have just a 30-point week and say that all the offensive woes are fixed here. Yeah, we ran the ball for the first time this season. All right, congratulations. It's Thanksgiving. All right,
second time. Late. Yeah, 200 yards against New Orleans on the ground. Come on now, don't forget that happened last week.
Okay, yeah, I forgot already. How could I? All right, but seriously, we need to make it a little bit more consistent, Donkey.
Hey, since the bye week, Najee's over 4 yards a carry every game. Keep that trend going, baby. Let's go.
And I am definitely not one of those people who said that this was an offensive problem this week. This was 100% a defensive problem. Anytime you allow any other team to score 37, 37 is too much, Donkey. I don't care if you're the worst defense, best defense, whatever the expectations are, standards, blah, blah, blah. 37, too much.
It was. And when you consider Presley Harvin actually had a good day punting the ball, Matthew Wright actually made all his field goals. Kudos there. You're talking 30 points from the offense, a little bit aided by the defense, I guess you could say, but the turnover at the end of the half, they had to move the ball for the field goal. But TJ Watt set up a field goal all by himself. I'm not against that. I know it happened. But the fact of the matter is, the people coming out against the offense don't seem to get it. I mean, you're talking 30 points is a hard thing to achieve in the NFL. It doesn't matter if it was mostly first half versus second half. The fact is, the offense performed where they need to perform. That's the above average mark. They need to get over 23 points. 23 points and above, we should win those games with how good our defense is allegedly. But the problem I'm going to say here, and everyone feel free to hate me on this, Gingy, feel free to hate me on this team is just as good as last year's team. The difference is this year's team hasn't played as many shitty teams as last year's team. Last year, Pittsburgh Steelers, when facing playoff teams, was 2-6. The offense scored 16 points a game. The defense gave up 28 points a game. Only twice last year when playing a playoff team did the Steelers hold an opponent under 21 points. You compare that to 4 times they let opponents score over 30 points. So, how are they better, Donkey? This year, guess what we are? Against current playoff teams, we're 2-6. Same record. But why are we better? Our offense is better. They're scoring 16.5 points against playoff teams, and the defense is only allowing 25.5 points. And 4 times this defense has held playoff teams under 21 points. Now, albeit some of these teams might not be playoff teams at the end of the year. And 3 times, only 3 times, which is one less, given up over 30 points. I'm going to say something that's highly debatable here. Last year, Steelers made a living because they had an easy schedule and beat bad teams. The defense is the same defense today that it was last year, which is a bad defense that isn't getting talked about because the offense is worse. However, I think it's easier to fix the offense than to fix the defense, Gingy.
Oh, boy. Well, I'm not so certain, Donkey. We'll have to wait and see what Kenny Pickett develops into. I think the quarterback is going to be is always the most difficult position to replace on the football team, especially coming off of someone Ben Roethlisberger, leadership style, center of the team, whatever else. Steelers got to find that new identity, right? TJ Watt leads with his play on the field. I'm not really. And I could be wrong here. I'm not in that locker room, but I don't think he's the most vocal guy that you'd ever come across. I think Cam Hayward is, sort of more the vocal leader on that defensive side of the ball. And I think that defense is going to be transitioning too whenever Cam Hayward decides to, hang it up. And,
hang the cleats up.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be as a significant as transition for that unit as moving away from Ben Roethlisberger was for the offense.
I hear that, and I hear you on that. Laskers, were you a little bit surprised to hear that the offense is scoring more points against playoff teams this year than it did last year when everyone has seemingly said that this offense has taken a huge step backwards? Does that surprise you at all?
Oh, it definitely surprises me because it just from watching, it seems like it took a step back, but, the stats don't lie.
That's true. The stats don't lie. And what I'm going to say is the Steelers have a very skewed view of last year because let's remember it was Ben's last year, but we had a nice spread of losing football teams in there. And as Gingy said, last week, no one had any complaints. Gingy, why did no one have any complaints last week?
Dub.
Because we won the football game. That's right. When you lose a game and then the next week you win the game, it really quiets people. So to me, why the Steelers are getting so abused this year, why they're getting hit so hard by the media, by the talking heads, Laskers, is we're not 7-1-1 against losing teams. We're 1-1 against losing teams. The problem is, to this point, we've already played as many winning playoff teams as we did all of last year. And let's not forget, Ben only put up 30 points once last year. Let's not forget that.
I was going to say the bad side is we got more playoff teams to play. I mean, that's a big thing. We're not going to play that many teams that aren't destined for the playoffs for the rest of the year.
Couple
I
games
mean, a
versus
few.
the
But
Ravens.
I believe the Ravens are the only team remaining that currently has a winning record. Yes, I believe. And we have 2 against Baltimore. So take that for what it is. I guess technically, if you want to say, but Cleveland's a playoff team with Deshaun Watson, we could have that
No.
conversation too.
Speculation.
No.
Pure speculation.
Yes,
I
highly
think
speculative.
I think all of us hope right now that Deshaun Watson's going to tank. He's going to be terrible. They're going to put Brissett back in.
That would be hilarious. I would absolutely love that. But honestly, I don't know what to say about this Cincinnati game, man. It's the first game where I feel like the offense put up such a stellar performance, but then they're getting viewed negatively because the second half did happen. You can't argue that the predictability happened, but still, 30 points is 30 points. The fact of the matter is, a defense that is as highly paid and as quote unquote highly skilled as the Steelers defense should not be giving up 37 points a game. I just can't get over that fact. I brought up the stats to show how I really don't feel there's much difference between this year's offense, last year's offense, this year's defense, last year's defense, in terms of being at that good level. And to me, that good level is when you're compared to good teams. Sure, last year's team was better at beating bad teams, but we don't even know that for sure because this year's team hasn't played as many bad teams. That was what my biggest take from the Cincinnati game was, is that Steelers fans are just getting dramatic because the schedule is tough this year where it was easy last year. Laskers, I'll go to you first, and you can hand it over to Gingy for final thoughts on the Cincinnati game. And Gingy, make sure you have your differential of what the changing moment was ready when Laskers sends it to you.
Oh man, I don't know what the changing moment was. I guess the changing moment for me is when we turned the ball over on 4th down and they decided to score again. That's a big changing moment.
That's fair. Gingy.
Oh boy, Donkey. Changing moment in this game. I don't. It's hard to say, Donkey. This plays into some statistics that you had said in a couple shows ago in terms of Steelers points per quarter, right? Looking at points per quarter.
We lost the first quarter. Game was over.
First and third quarters, Donkey.
Trash pandas.
3 points in each.
And 3 points. Second and fourth quarters, 17 and 7. So I hate to be like a copycat of Laskers, and I can't really say definitively when in that fourth quarter, that stride changed. But to go in typical Steeler fashion, in the ways that Steelers have been winning ball games for the last 3 years, you need to have double digits in that fourth quarter. And they did not. They had 7 points in that fourth quarter, and that doesn't fit the pattern of what the Steelers need to do to win. That's your differential, Donkey.
All right, Donkey's going to mention one thing because neither one of you said it, and I'm kind of sad. The difference to me in the game was Steelers get a short field to start somewhere in the third quarter, start near the third quarter. Don't move the fucking ball at all. Pardon the French there. Shouldn't be swearing. Kids might watch. I apologize. But we punt the ball. We pin them at like the 10, 5-yard line. They get a false start to start the drive and then drive 97 yards for a touchdown. Steelers went from short field, pinning them. Defense has a chance to make a play, gives up a 97-yard touchdown. Oh my goodness gracious. Seriously, what has happened to our beloved Steel Curtain, Gingy?
Donkey, if I might also, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that, you said earlier in the podcast, they had their number one guy out, Jamar Chase.
Yep.
Differential for
Joe
me.
Mixon gets hurt in the first quarter.
Differential for me, allowing T. Higgins to put up the stat line that he did. 9 for 148, averaging 16 per. Perrine with 3 receiving touchdowns. What's that, Donkey? What
you
is
missed the
that?
bug cap. you should listen to the Budcap, Gigi. It's a good 10 minutes of Donkey being angry and ranting when we lose. Very fun, very enjoyable for all the family.
Oh my goodness.
But yes,
Yeah.
I mentioned the fact that they're without their top two weapons. You still let Higgins go off. You get burned by some dude named Irwin looking like he just smoked a bull on the sideline, and you can't stop their backup Samaje Perine. Are you serious?
Oh boy. A
It's
lot
a
of
good
work to be done
time in
there,
there.
Donkey.
Anyone who didn't catch the bug cap this week, tune in. Micah the Bug actually said more than a one-word answer. You only have to listen about the first minute of the show to hear it, but well worth it because he actually gives you a real take, and it's his first real Steelers take. It was awesome. Also, listen to the very last 2 minutes of the show because he has quite a good take on what's going to happen this week against the Colts. Speaking of which, Laskers, start getting ready because I'm going to be going to you for a second for where the Colts rank and points per game, yards per game, all that fun stuff. But as you know, we got to break down the series history, Gingy. Steelers versus Colts. And yes, this includes them as the Baltimore Colts for anyone who's curious. 26-6 all time is the Steelers' record against the Colts. At Pittsburgh, they're 17-2. On the road, where this game takes place, they are 9-4. The biggest win in series history was Pittsburgh by 42 points in 1985. Indy won a game by 34 points way back in 1968 as the Baltimore Colts. The longest streak, Pittsburgh had won 9 straight games from 85 to 2002. Indy won 2 straight games in 1968 and 71. At least one of those games was as Baltimore Colts. Might have been both. No idea when they actually left. The current streak is the Pittsburgh Steelers have won 7 straight, dating all the way back to 2011. The last meeting was a meeting where it looked like we were dead. The second half, we make a comeback, and we win 28-24 in the 2020 season, one of the key moments to the Pittsburgh Steelers making the playoffs. That's how the series history breaks down. Laskers, tell me how the Colts are playing this year.
They are averaging 15.7 points a game. They're 2-3 at home and 2-3 away, and they have a tie against the Texans.
Oh boy, a tie against the Texans. Their defense, though, is pretty elite there, right, Laskers? I think they're one of the top 10 defenses in the league, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I am mistaken.
I think you are because their total for the season points against is 220.
It's about 22. Yeah, that's about average.
And the Titans were 185, and the Jaguars in the same division are 205 with a worse record.
All right, that's fair. You're talking about the Colts who are just coming off a tough loss last week. Gingy, they lost by 1 point to the Eagles on a late drive. Shut down Philly's potent offense pretty good. I believe they lost 16-17. They have Matt Ryan back in at quarterback, who, of course, at one point was on pace to set the record for fumbles in a season. They have a couple decent receivers out there in Pittman. Obviously, Taylor's the running back there, right? The dude who just had a stellar year last year, struggling a little bit this year. Some offensive line injuries there. A defensive front that's playing pretty good, although I think Kwity Payne and DeForest Buckner are both on the injury report and both might miss this week. They're also playing without superstar middle linebacker Shaq Leonard as he's still on IR. There is some area to expose this team, Gingy, as they're not going into this game.
I think there is one. The biggest thing that I heard was from Laskers there, an average of 15 points a game. That is an opponent offense that we can keep up with, baby. Let's go. We can keep up with that pace. That means a performance that's slightly better than the one we saw last week from the defense should be able to get it done, in theory, right, Donkey?
Well, the way I'm looking at this is the Steelers once again are taking on a losing football team. You're talking a week 1 tie against Houston. Again, for everybody who hasn't heard me say this before, week one doesn't real matter. Football. Just like Thursday nights aren't real football. Don't read anything into week 1 games. Don't read anything into Thursday night games. But this is a team who's coming off a long break. They did play on Thursday last week, correct, Laskers? I believe it was a Thursday game against Philly.
Oh, I moved away from that. Give me a second. I believe you're right.
Well, Laskers is back to that. That's a Thursday game getting a break all the way to a Monday game. They might as well be another team coming off a bye week. When teams have that much time to prep, it can be scary. But, again, the Steelers have the ability to use that three safety package with KZ back in there that no one's seen before. this is also a team that has struggled protecting the quarterback, Gingy. What do the Steelers do good when they win football games?
They get pressure. Lots of it.
That's true. Also, Matt Ryan's fumbled the ball a lot. Do we happen to have someone on this defense who might be, I don't know, a master at the strip sack?
We should, well, a couple guys, in my opinion.
Yeah, lay them on me.
Highsmith and Watt on the outside coming in at you hard. Hayward always looking for the ball if he's getting pressure up the middle. Pressure equals. I don't know. I don't know if Ryan's a guy to get real erratic when he's under pressure, throwing the ball into bad situations. But our defense causes that quite a bit when they're on. So again, I'm like a broken record with the recipe for success here, and that turns into running the football and bend but don't break on defense. 3 is okay. 7 is not.
Fair, that's an acceptable way to look at things. My biggest concern is Steelers tend to struggle against running backs. Taylor is a hell of a running back. You know what? I'll say this. The run defense has looked a lot better since Montrevious Adams has been put in at nose tackle. Maybe that continues. Maybe we can shut down Taylor. Maybe Donkey's X Factor. Sneak peek. Hold on. Spoiler alert. Don't listen. Wait till the end. Is Montrevious Adams going to be an X Factor? That's quite possible. But we also have to talk about the offensive side of the ball. Boy, oh boy, did that offensive line look terrible in the second half after Mason Cole's injury. The running game, nowhere near as effective as it was in the first half. The pass blocking, was there a play where Kenny Pickett wasn't either getting sacked or running for his life in that whole second half, Gingy?
I didn't see many of them.
I mean, Dan Moore might as well just change his name to Turnstile, because the dude can't block. I actually gave him credit, I believe.
Dan Moore.
No, dude, I gave him credit 2 weeks ago. Or 3 weeks ago. And then that motherfucker goes out and just has like the worst 3 games I've ever seen a Steelers left tackle have. And I've seen some bad Steelers left tackles in my day. I'll tell you what. He makes me miss Max Starks. That's all I'm going to say. I bet Ben Max out there as a sideline reporter could still lace him up and play better than Dan Moore does right now. But neither here nor there. Offensively, you're looking at someone complained this week. So we're looking at a lot of Deontay Johnson. So Laskers, to me, the player this week on the offense, I know Najee has to keep up what he's been doing the last 2 weeks, maybe finally break 100 yards, which, by the way, I think I said he was going to take the Steelers' lead in rushing touchdowns last week. I believe he did with those 2 he got there. So, woohoo! I stole Gingy's crystal ball for a week to make part of my prediction. I guess it failed me on the second half. You got to teach me a little bit of lessons how to read. Yeah, still, he's in the lead. You got to teach me lessons. You got to teach me lessons on how to read that crystal ball a little better, Gingy. That's all I'm saying. But Deontay Johnson complaining about not getting touches. Matt Canada seeming oblivious to everybody who's a reporter when they tell him an advanced metric or any kind of stat that's outside of the normal catches and receptions. Matt Canada seems lost. This team has to do with shitty play calling. That's the way it's going to be for the rest of the year. Hopefully Canada can improve like he did in the New Orleans game and the first half of last week's game. But I feel Deontay Johnson is going to get a steady dose, and he's going to need to be something big, Laskers. What you feeling?
Oh, he needs to. If you want to call for the ball, you better step up and show up. Otherwise, why are you calling for the ball?
That's fair. That's fair. Gingy.
Yeah.
Are you feeling on this offense? What you seeing going down against the vaunted Indianapolis Colts?
Oh boy, well, I need a repeat of last week. I need to see some more running of the football. I was looking this week. Where are we at with Jaylen Warren?
He has not practiced as of today.
Oh boy, that's not what I'd like to see. I really like to see him inherit and Najee split time back there. Yeah, DNP. Not looking good there.
The only 2 who haven't practiced this week, I believe, is Witherspoon and Warren. I believe.
Yeah,
I believe Mason Cole.
Correct.
Maybe Mason Cole. Was he limited today? I don't remember if he was limited today, but there might be 3 that haven't practiced at all this week.
Cole is limited, Boykin is limited, and Connor Hayward did not practice with an illness.
Yeah, he probably got himself a little stomach bug. I don't read too much into that. As if you just see the DMPs all the way around, those are the ones you have to worry about, obviously. And right now, that's sitting as Witherspoon, that's sitting as Warren, and Warren could be a huge one. But hey, anybody remember the boy Master Teague who ran the ball really good in the preseason? He's back on the practice squad. Maybe we get to see some Master Teague this week.
Maybe.
But again, Gigi, so where were we? Offense, what you seeing going down?
This week versus the Colts, we are looking at Donkey. Like I said, a repeat of last week. Need to see steady dose of Harris. I have some things on Deontay. Donkey, you talked about guys earlier that need to step up.
Mm-hmm.
Donkey, Deontay's on the edge for me. He's had a few years, and he might be because there was a word earlier that you said that really caught my attention. It was about potential. And I do not know whether you sign a guy to the deal that he got signed to on potential. I don't know if you hang on to a guy for as long as we do for potential. I need consistency.
Results. You need results.
Yeah. Deontay, boy, oh boy, I feel you on the potential. There's glimmers, there's flashes, but he's shown me that these streaks, they're not a passing thing. They're a consistent part of his performance, these streaks, these ups and downs. And
there is an advanced metric out
Donkey.
there that says Deontay Johnson runs open more often than any other receiver in the NFL. I joke you not. There is an advanced metric out there that says he is the most open receiver in the NFL.
Okay, so then that comes back to coaching. We got to find him. We got to build a system that finds him.
If that advanced metric is right, we sure as hell better figure out how to get him the football.
That's exactly right, Donkey. So on the offense, that's what I'm seeing this week. I'm not a big Pickett hater. I don't think that we have enough info to really tell yet. Love to see the kid continue to grow and develop. Don't really have too much there. It's going to be what surrounds him, I think, that really dictates the outcome of the game more so than him with what I've seen from his style of play. He doesn't seem to dictate the outcome of the game one way or the other.
Well, you need someone to throw passes to.
Well,
he does, but he doesn't. He has not won or lost a game by himself yet, like some quarterbacks can.
I hear you, and I don't disagree with you. I understand the NFL stands for not for long. That's how much attention span they have. That's how much they care. But to me, you never judge a rookie quarterback. You judge them in year two. If they start showing regression in year two, you move on. What you want to see is progression in year two. This year to me is just Kenny Pickett getting acclimated to the NFL. I hope he shows those steps this year, but if he doesn't, I don't really care. It is what it is. It's not here. It's not there. But I hear you, Gingy. I hear everything you say. He hasn't shown to be that difference maker yet. And I agree with Laskers that sometimes people need to step up beside him. Last week, I think, was our best performance. Let's build off that. Let's keep going. You guys got anything else you want to say about the Colts game before we get into predictions, starting with the other three AFC North games, obviously?
If this defense allows the Colts to score more than their season average, I'm going to be pissed.
Gingy, I will send you a couple shots of something because I have a feeling you might be pissed.
Gingy's probably gonna be wearing a Colts jersey because of SPL.
I don't know.
We ain't losing the game last week. So that's neither here nor there. Laskers, any last minute thoughts on this game for you before I go to predictions?
No, we better not lose this game. That's my only thing.
All right, then let's start it off. Laskers, I'll go to you. You go to Gingy. Each one. Tampa Bay at Cleveland.
Tampa Bay 21-15. Gingy.
Lawson's giving us a score too.
I like doing that. It's fun.
Tampa Bay at Cleveland. Oh my! I don't even. Boy, I wish I knew an injury report on those folks. Give me Tampa.
Give me Tampa coming off the bye. That's what I like to see. We got Cincinnati going to Tennessee.
Give me Titans.
Man, I think that's going to be a close game. I'm also going to take the Titans by 3. I'm not going with any other score.
Joe Burrow's locked in. I hate picking against locked-in Joe Burrow. Also, I'm probably last in the stats again, so give me the Bengals. I'm making them up this week, boys. Baltimore at Jacksonville.
Ooh,
Baltimore
trap.
by
Trap.
14.
Freaking trap, donkey. Oh. Give me Baltimore, but I'm probably going to regret it.
Give me the Jaguars and watch Travis Etienne's coming out party this week, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to be mad, donkey, because I want to, but
I'm going to tell you right now, the explosive back that I wish the Steelers would have drafted is having a good year when he's healthy this year. I expect him to really put his name out there this week. Although, to be honest, Najee is looking great too the last couple weeks, so I can't complain too much. Let's get into it. Steelers at Colts. I need a score, I need a winner, and I need an X factor. Laskers, lead it off.
Pittsburgh 28, Colts 17. And my X factor is going to be TJ because we need him to step up and get a few forced fumbles.
Fair. Ginger.
Ooh, Steelers in a close one, 24-20. X factor this week. Watch out for Minkah Fitzpatrick. You know, donkey, you call he thrives in the competitive environment. I think the last time that you called him out for being overpaid, I think he told you what then too. So give me an X factor for Minkah.
One great year makes him overpaid. Sorry, staying with that until he proves to be a consistent entity.
I think the last time you talked smack, though, he balled out and intercepted Joe Burrow's
if that's
first
the
pass
case,
of
I'm
the
going to
season.
shit talk him every freaking week.
Exactly.
Put it out there.
We'll see. X factor.
I'm thinking about it now. I'm going to join the fun here. I got Steelers 20, Colts 16. Gingy, even your prediction was the Colts over their season average. Disappointed there. Disappointed. But, of course, my
I told you I was going to end
be...
up disappointed by that defense. I think I am. We'll talk about it next week, but I think they're going to I think they're going to make Matt Ryan look maybe a little better than he is, but let's hope for a dub.
My X factor is going to be a lesser talked about person who's since been inserted into the starting lineup, has made the run defense better. I think the key is stopping Jonathan Taylor. If you make the Colts have to pass the ball, you give yourself an opportunity to make the plays against that offensive line. I think Montravius Adams is going to get a lot of action, and I think he's going to make a couple nice big run stuffs in the middle, in the backfield, much like he did last week to slow down the Bengals running game. But hopefully this week it leads to slowing down the running game and then not letting the passing game just take the top off. So that's sweet for the Steelers out of here. We got a special one to shout out with the SPL, the Colts fan pick. I guess he said 2019 Colts, right, Laskers?
I was hoping you remembered because I couldn't remember 100%.
I believe it's 2019 Colts. So we'll see who's right. Maybe next week we'll add a caption with a picture of Gingy in the Colts jersey if they lose, or SPL in the Steelers jersey if the Steelers win. I guess is how the bet's gonna go.
Yikes!
The bet that hasn't happened yet.
Yikes! That sounds.
I'm putting
sketchy.
both of their prides on the line for my entertainment. Neither here nor there. Shout out time, Gingy. It's a loss. Do you have a shout out, or should I just go to Laskers?
Yeah, I'll take a shout out today. Doesn't have anything to do with the dang Steelers, though, after that performance. Shout out to U.S. men's national team for drawing England today. Didn't see that coming. Thought that was going to be a shakedown.
McKinney can just finish one of the 3 balls in the middle. We win. That's all I'm saying. Broke my heart. Laskers,
that's my shout out.
Even though we lost, I am going to give a shout out to Najee for 2 touchdowns, the most in this single season that he's got. So, good to you. Let's follow it up this week with 2 more.
My shout out is going to be a 2-part shout out. First off, shout out to the Steelers for scoring 30 points on offense. Everybody, 30 points. Good job. Keep that energy going forward. Second shout out is to Master Teague. Good preseason. Injury gets him cut. Glad to see he's healthy, worked his way back, is on the practice squad, and maybe we get to see him this week and maybe he gets to play big. That would be awesome to see. I would love to see that. But I guess it's time. I'll let you know. I'm the Viking Donkey. That's Viking_Donkey on Twitch and Twitter. Your daily dose of Donkey with Ginger's YouTube channel. Leave us a like, comment, subscribe, follow. Hit that little dingy bell thing that lets you know when new videos are posted so you never miss a bug cap, a power rankings, or most importantly, you never miss a Steelers talk because this is highly entertaining and you do not want to miss me talking like this. But if I do it any longer, I'll lose my voice. So Lasker's over to you.
I definitely want to miss Donkey talking like that all the time. So, but it's Laskers everywhere. And over to Gingy.
Mutant Gingy over here. We listening to Donkey talk like that. Living it up, boys.
On the
Let's
newly named
go.
Donkey's Right podcast.
Oh my goodness, Donkey. That threw off my flow, man. Donkey's right. Are you serious? Let's get him, folks.
Gingy's out.
Steelers Nation, we can't cap on you this week, folks. Let's go. We got Monday Night Football under the lights. Keep them towels nice and warm on Sunday. Keep them on standby. Save some of them snacks. Finish up them leftovers, and folks, wave them if you got them. Let's go Steelers. We need a dub in prime time.